Principal Peters, we've gathered, just as you asked us to try to come up with a lesson plan to teach Johnny spelling.
And in all my years as a behaviorist, my suggestion is that we use drills. I think they are the best way to teach children spelling.
See, I'd have to disagree with you, behaviorism, because as a cognitivist, I believe that the teacher needs to facilitate the student's learning, but the student needs to take part and have control of their learning. They need to know where to put this new knowledge into the schema in their brain. So they need to really be involved.
I see what you're saying, and I see where you're coming from. And as a humanism, I think that what we can do is when drilling him, we just need to give him some resources, many resources. Let's give him some choices of how we're going to do this, just so we give him some opportunity. What are you thinking over there?
Well, I'm thinking as a constructivist,
Yeah.
that the student needs to be an active participant in constructing his own knowledge. He needs to be able to acquire it in a way that he knows that he's going to be able to use it out there in the real world.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you on
Good
part of
point,
that.
good point.
Yeah, very good. Now, once again, like I said, I think the teacher needs to facilitate in their learning, but the student takes full responsibility for that learning. They take responsibility for how they put it into their brain. The teacher may facilitate and give them options and learning strategies to use, but that student chooses which one to use to remember that information.
And I think Johnny needs to be invested in this. He needs to be
Yes,
invested in his learning,
exactly.
and especially in the spelling.
Yes.
What do you think?
I absolutely agree
Yeah.
with that. I think that there needs to be a very close personal relationship with Johnny so that I can figure out his zone of proximal development and I can take him right to the edge of where that is and I can teach him everything he needs to know.
See, now, I disagree because truly we are all just empty vessels waiting to be filled with all kinds of information. And in addition to that, we have responsibilities as teachers and responsibility to our states and the parents to make sure that we satisfy the GLICs. And if we're going to get Johnny to be able to spell well, then we need to be able to pour this information into him so he learns it and he's able to develop.
I think so. But you know what? I also want to make sure we're motivating Johnny. I want to make sure that we're doing all that we can to encourage him, that we try to think of some creative ways where it's fun to learn, and so he enjoys what he's doing.
I couldn't agree with you more personally.
And
I believe in reinforcements.
I absolutely agree. I think that he needs to be vested in his learning. He needs to also realize that this is what he's going to need out there in the real world. He uses this every day. He's got to be a part. It's got to have some real world context to him. Go ahead. You were saying.
That's fine. I was listening. But learning is a process, isn't it? It's not the product. It's not the end result.
Absolutely.
I mean, learning has to be something that they're, once again, invested in. And, they're managing themselves. They want to learn, right? I mean...
But we have a responsibility as educators to ensure that they learn. So unless we're, drilling this information in their head and practicing over and over, they're not going to learn anything.
See, and I disagree with that. I think we can give Johnny the letters, and he can make words and create his own knowledge from those words. He's going to learn how to spell if we give him those tools to be able to create his own knowledge.
But his interpersonal skills need to be developed for this. In order for this all to work, all to
That's
come into
true.
play, they need to be developed.
I agree.
And maybe we just need to facilitate, not so much let them just be on their own, like constructivism is suggesting, or not just teach and throw it in their brain like behaviorism is suggesting.
But
Just facilitate.
That's true, facilitate. But I also want to make sure you guys are well aware. The kid needs to eat. The kid needs to be fed in order to learn. He needs to have that nourishment, and we need to create that environment that is good for learning.
I agree with you there.
Excellent.
I think they choose to learn. As a student, they're going to choose to learn, and if they choose that they want to learn, then that will happen.
Great. I think there's a lot of great ideas here.
Yes, I agree. As long as we are the facilitators to that knowledge, I agree.
Okay. So what are some things that we might do and use as teaching resources to teach Johnny then? think we should show them audio tapes, videotapes, maybe some graphic organizers. You know, I think those are very effective tools.
I do.
Get some thinking.
I think they're very effective, and we also have to remember that this is all muddy. Everything overlaps. Everything that we're talking about is right. Everything that we're saying kind of
Yeah.
fits together like a puzzle.
It's like a puzzle.
I don't think any of our ideas are any better than anyone else's. That's just how teaching is. It's kind of putting all of us, theories into one.
I would agree. So I think we've all agreed on one thing, that student learning is important, and maybe we need to pull from all of our ideas and make it so the best interest of the student, which right now is Johnny, will be looked after before our own opinions. And
I agree.
right?
What do you think, Dr. Peters?